The big CyberCab event is coming up on August 8th. 8/8 is the big day, or as our friends in Europe say, 8/8. They do it backwards. It's a little different. We're going to have a quick conversation about all the things that we know, all the things that we think, and all the things we hope. Joining me today is a good friend, Kristen, K10, the legend herself. You may have seen her on the legendary Third Row podcast with Gally and the others. You may have seen her at events, not just around the country, but around the world. We saw her in Austria at the amazing X takeover that was held there. And she is a frequent guest at all these things and on channels and whatnot. And who knows, might even join us in Michigan at the summer meetup next year. Fingers crossed.
Nice.
Kristen, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
It's so much fun. We had such a great time in Austria. What fantastic people. What a great event they put on.
Yeah,
So
it was great.
It was wonderful. It was wonderful. And if you didn't get a chance to do it, it'll be held not next year, but the following year. They're doing every other because these are a lot of work. So hats off to John Stringer and the Silicon Valley crew for helping them put it together and putting on their amazing X takeover at the end of this month. That'll be fun too.
Yeah.
Check us out. So we're talking cybercabs, robo-taxi. Well, first of all, what are we calling it?
You know, traditionally everyone's been calling it robotaxi, but you know, Elon came out and he said CyberCab 8/8, so it's kind of thrown people. I mean, we've got the Cybertruck and things have been going cyber since 2019, but now he's calling it CyberCab.
There are always hints. There are always hints. When you look at the event for the reveal of the Cybertruck, they had just random vehicles on display. These could mean anything. I mean, there's a DeLorean, there's a city car, which is a little wedge.
Yes.
Probably means nothing. No, those were
Right.
very big hints, my friend. And you know, he's sitting there giggling. They don't know.
Right.
And just like with the cyber truck, we haven't seen any leaks. So that's very interesting too. We've seen drawings, but those could be not real. Those could be just illustrative. So what do you think it's going to be? Is it going to have a steering wheel?
I think most likely for the long run, it won't have a steering wheel. I think the whole design of it is to be, you know, autonomous. I think the point is it to be like kind of like the Uber rideshare. So I believe they won't have steering wheels going forward. I think there might be an option, maybe at first. I'm not sure. It's going to be hard for people to give up the steering wheel, but I mean it's going to be so interesting. I think I posted pictures back at that Cybertruck event of that everyman car, that little car, and you know I believe that one was from Blade Runner. I think they had cars there from Total Recall, I think, too. But going forward, for the most part, no, it will not have a steering wheel. Right off the bat, I don't know. What do you think, Brian?
I think they might show us the same car twice, with and without, maybe.
Yeah.
It depends how radical of a departure the Cybercab is from what we think of as a car today. Because a lot of times when it comes to things that Elon does, his companies do, his engineers come up with, we're trying to ask questions, but we're asking the wrong questions.
Right.
You know, the one problem with paint shops is they're very expensive. Well, how can we make a paint shop that can make millions of trucks, but cheaper? You're asking the wrong question. We're not going to paint it.
Right.
The best paint is no paint, which would explain my old Buick that I used to have. It was very good at having no paint. It just kept flaking off. So how many variants do you think will be announced or displayed?
Well, Elon put out that tweet on June 7th that said the robotaxi man with, you know, different varying configurations. So people are talking about, you know, a platform, possibly a chassis, that things can change. I don't know. I know at least there'll be a 2-passenger one. I believe that's what everyone's hoping for. This compact, smaller than a Model 3. But I think we might see a few other different vehicles going forward that are built on that kind of platform. So how many? I don't know.
I like your thinking. If the footprint is sufficient that you can make it in a modular way,
Right.
why not have a compact pickup. Not so
Right.
much for the US market, though it would sell, but if you've traveled in Europe or Asia, you will see those ultra compact pickups, those K car size pickups. Those are
Yep.
very useful in narrow streets, and in
Yeah.
some places, I imagine the licensing and taxing can be a lot better, and you get efficiencies with that. And so, yeah, will we see a minivan? Will we see a hatchback? I think any of those are possible. But my biggest expectation is a radical departure, something that afterwards leaves the crowd divided. And I don't mean the crowd in attendance. We know the crowd in attendance will be on board,
Right.
just like they were with the Cybertruck, which was very divisive. I
Yeah.
felt sick. I felt sick to my stomach when I saw it. I had just invested 5 months earlier, 6 months earlier, and I thought, oh no, what's going on? It took me a while. It took me a while to warm up to it, but once I did, I was very obviously. I've come around.
You come around, yeah.
I've come around. So you said 2 seats. That's we've seen drawings that support that. Do you think they would show also a 4-seat configuration or one facing the other direction where you're facing each
Hmm.
other?
Well, we
Because what
have,
I'd like to, yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I mean, we have seen the Boring Company put out vehicle um, schematics that were, I mean, just kind of out there about vehicles that transported people that had seats facing each other. So possibly, and I believe there's also another electric company that I forget the name of it that came up with a vehicle after those schematics and kind of made a vehicle looking like that drives around. So possibly,
Canoe.
yeah. I think we'll see a vehicle that will transport a lot more numbers that will be bigger. And so yes, I do believe we'll see that.
I hope so. I think Canoe is the one you're thinking of. It's
Yes,
it's
yes.
uh, the one that Blue Origin wishes to use for astronaut pad transit. Not Blue Origin, but United Launch Alliance is using it,
Yes.
while SpaceX is, of course, using Model X.
Yes.
What I'd like to see for utility purposes is an open cabin with seats facing each other
Right.
and maybe one large central door on each side so that and maybe it's one that moves up and out of the way so that I can step in while carrying my groceries or my baby or
Right.
I guess it would be someone else's baby because I don't have a baby,
Ah,
but I'm sure I could borrow one for the scenario.
yeah.
But it would be great because then you could hop in, put the kid down, sit down yourself, no folding seats, no dealing with all that, no bunches of doors. Oh no, the back door isn't closed or whatever. I think it would be very utilitarian to have that kind of access.
Yes.
And one that was suggested to me by a viewer was if we do get a boring tunnel variant, it would be nice
Mm.
to see a ADA compliant ramp at the back
Hmm.
and the front.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
it's
think so.
roll on, roll through. It doesn't matter which direction it's pointing. You can get in and out without anything added to the
Yeah.
vehicle. It just comes that way. And
Yeah.
it would be, I think, an absolute game changer in mobility for maybe not millions of Americans, but maybe millions of Americans, for a whole lot of people that are a market segment that I think has been desperately underserved
Mm.
forever.
Yeah.
So, what do you think we will actually get to see on the day? And again, folks, in the comments, I want to hear your thoughts too on all these questions. But Kristen is very sharp and very fun, and I enjoy hanging out with you. So, this is a great opportunity for us to do that, to just have some fun.
Nice.
So, what do you
Uh,
expect to see?
what do I expect over what I hope? So I do expect to see at least a clay model. I mean, I think they've been working on this long enough. People have seen, and I mean, I saw it before Walter Isaacson's book, the schematics of kind of that vehicle that Franz had put up. That kind of might be it, which is shocking that we see that. So I think we'll see something along the lines like that. Um, what I hope to see is a bunch of them, so we can all get test rides around a track or something. But that's
Yeah,
that's pretty out there.
it it wouldn't. So, I think I agree. A clay model is the bare minimum. I think we'll see at least uh, at least 2 mock-ups,
Yeah.
but maybe even more than one that are operational. And if
Hmm.
it really is a robotaxi, we don't need to go out on the streets. You've been to Giga Texas. You know how massive the parking lots and roads around
Right.
it are that they fully control, they
Right.
could set up a 5 mile test track. I mean, maybe 2 or 3 would be more practical, looping all around. Put little exhibits or a place to get your card stamped and wait for the next one to come along. It'd be interesting and a lot of fun.
Oh, I like
Uh,
that design. Yeah, that would
yeah,
be a lot of fun because we could practice. You know, I would like to see then. I guess we're talking about the rideshare hailing app. Possibly that would be downloadable then and there in the crowd. I don't know why that couldn't be something that could go forward. Whether or not it actually, I don't know. I mean, could they geofence it around Giga Texas? That would be fun, and we could all
it.
practice using it.
I think what it would be is added to the app that you already have
Right.
with a code that is on your ticket. And if you choose to take a picture of this and some jerkwad gets it outside of here, guess what? You ain't getting a ride.
Yeah, the people who put their codes online. Yeah,
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 don't.
probably shouldn't do that.
Boy, you forgot your credit card at the bar. Here's a picture of the front and back. If it's yours, let me. Oh, it's
Right.
maxed out already. Oh,
Right.
okay. My apologies. I'm hoping to see that. I'm hoping. I agree with you. I don't know that we'll get test rides. I hope that we would. I hope
Yeah.
it's far enough along that they could do that. And if it's on the property, I'm not worried about safety. It's not, if you want to bonk it into each other or someone else's car, that's not my problem. There's
Right.
nobody going 70 miles an hour in the parking lot who's going to hit us. I'm
Right.
comfortable. But if it went out on the road, that would be thrilling. But you know how far Giga Texas is from anything else. I don't think there would be time to put it on the public roads to
Yeah.
get them back in time to pick up more people.
Yeah. We could go around Giga Texas and
Oh,
that's enough. So what do you think the body?
yeah.
Are we going to see a Cybertruck-like body, a stamp press kind of stainless steel?
Okay. Okay. So I think it will not be stainless steel because if you're going to make 4 million of them, you start running out of nickel. And
Okay.
nickel is expensive. And
Yeah.
a lot of it is in places that make it difficult to get
Indonesia. Yeah,
politically.
yeah.
Well, Russia as well,
Yeah.
and there's all kinds of restrictions on that now. But even if all of those supply lines were open, once you're talking about millions of vehicles worth of stainless, now you're going to run into a supply crunch.
Mm.
I'm expecting carbon fiber or maybe not carbon fiber, but like injected resin. I'm expecting plastic. I'm expecting plastic because it's very cheap. It's
Mhm.
very quick. It's very durable.
Mhm.
In terms of replacement, there's nothing easier. You can make it as strong as you need to make it. You don't
Mm.
have to paint it. If it gets scratched, it's the same color underneath.
Mhm.
It. The only reason you wouldn't want it is because I don't want a plastic car. Right, but it's not your car. It's your taxi.
Yeah.
I also don't. I also don't want a high mileage Prius, but I'll get in one at the airport.
Yeah.
So I think asking some of those questions is asking the wrong question.
Mm.
It's not my car, and
Right.
if it is, it's my car in the same way that my drill is my drill. It's just a drill. It's a tool that I use to accomplish a task, and if
Yeah.
that task is getting around or making money, do that. I don't care as much what it looks like.
Yeah.
So I think all of that is exciting. I hope we get to see it. It would also be nice if they, if this was a car that people could drive, because people do still love driving cars. People do
Right.
still love owning cars. But that is my lowest expectation. I do not believe that the direction of the company right now is to focus on a meat operated level 0
Mm.
kind of vehicle,
Mm.
even a level 1 or 2. I think
Mm.
the objective is we're going to we're going to get there, we're going to get done, and keep our fingers crossed that this
Mhm.
is not in some way an absolutely impossible task.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. So, guys, we're going to have a part 2 where we're going to talk about the excitement that is all things Tesla. Because I don't know if you know this, but K10 has had a chance to not just meet Elon Musk, but sit down in a room and have a conversation with him that went on for what felt like days because I kept
Yeah.
rewinding it to watch more of it. So we'll be back with that. In the comments, what did we miss? What do we misunderstand? leave it. We got to know. And share your thoughts on the CyberCab as well. And everybody else, like, subscribe, do the usual. You know what you're doing. And stay tuned, stay juicy. And I cannot wait to hear from you clever robots in part 2.